have, if a way, cornered the market in talking about the Basque country. And obviously the lessons that they draw would not be lessons that actually reflect the reality. So the depth, there's no significant knowledge about the situation in the Basque country, in Northern Ireland civil society. Can I just say something about the question that was just before yours? Because I think about prisoners. Because I read in El País today, somebody associated with the Basque government criticized this policy as being contradictory, and also refusing to learn the lesson of the peace process in Northern Ireland, which, according to this Basque nationalist, the lesson was that it was good to bring all the prisoners together, and that has a positive impact. Now, obviously, Spain is a very big country, and Northern Ireland's a very small place, and the United Kingdom's not that big. But so it wasn't. That's not really the issue. And bringing the prisoners together was not a good thing. And it had all, sometimes very harmful effects, because the British government, as part of the process of negotiating with IRA in 1972, gave the IRA political status, which meant that IRA people didn't have to wear prison clothes, didn't have to do prison work, had free association in their areas, could educate themselves, could drill, could march up and down inside their compounds, right? Like sort of prisoners of war. Now the British government realized that that was not a good policy, and they abolished it in 1976, hence the hunger strikes, right? But one of the effects of the hunger strikes was to give back to the IRA prisoners in the main prison de facto political status. It wasn't called that, but they had more or less free association. They could educate themselves. Some of them got degrees. Some of them did become critics, and very few gave it up and shifted to a different position. But the effect was actually, it had no, prison policy had the enlightened prison policy had no positive effect. It allowed the new conditions that they won through the hunger strike, allowed them to organize a massive jailbreak in 1983. Right? Prisoners who were educated there, like in prisons in UK and in Northern Ireland, became better at articulating an unreconstructed position. They became better apologists for terrorism, very fluid, very articulate. Well, is that a gain for the prison policy of the British state? I don't think so. I don't think that the prison policy that was followed in Northern Ireland is a model that should be followed. Give them de facto political status was the issue in Northern Ireland. They got it, and it had no positive effects for the vast majority. For a few, but for the vast majority, they remained unreconstructed.
That's why I welcome the opportunity to come to meetings like this here in mainland Spain or in the Basque Country, so that that balance can be redressed. I think that the nationalists tend to play a very easy argument, and that is, in Northern Ireland, they say, this is the island of Ireland, and it should be yours. It shouldn't be the British. And in Spain, or in the Basque Country, they say, the Spanish shouldn't be here. This is the Basque Country. Let's kick them out. A very simplistic argument, and easy for them to play. But, we have got to work a lot harder to make sure that the wider world does know the true story about the Basque Country.
Muy bien, pues no hay más. ¿Hay alguna pregunta más? Perdón.
Mi pregunta es para el señor Gallagher. En lo que respecta a las víctimas y al ordenamiento jurídico irlandés, si se les facilita el acceso a la justicia a las víctimas, si se sienten protegidas por el ordenamiento jurídico.
In the civil action, I have many problems with the British and Irish governments But to their credit, some people within the government did support the families in their civil action, and this cost 2 million British pounds, €2.5 million, which is a substantial amount of money that we could never have raised ourselves. It is important. The other side of the coin is when Professor Patterson said earlier on about how victims are treated. Our group is funded through a government scheme, but the terrorist groups are also funded out of the same scheme. So, you know, we don't get recognition for being victims. For people who were shopping or working in shops or doing their business, these people were murdered, but the terrorist who is attacking a police station with an AK-47, his family is given the same treatment as our families. So that's part of all of the things that I think the victims of Spain need to make sure that you don't fall into that trap.
Buenas noches. Yo quisiera preguntar al profesor Patterson cuál es el papel que juega el gobierno de la República de Irlanda en las negociaciones, porque me imagino que Irlanda estaría interesada en la marcha de los ingleses del norte de Irlanda cuando se ve que Inglaterra no va a marcharse. ¿Qué papel juega la República de Irlanda en las negociaciones y con posterioridad? Porque históricamente se sabe que refugiaba bastante las teorías del IRA.